Y'all be scared of
Hey, how you
men
doing?
too looking like that.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm blessed, man.
That's good. That's good. You're a Christian, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm not a Christian. I'm just a follower of Jesus.
Sure. Do you believe in the Bible though?
Yeah.
Okay. And what on the background has piqued your interest?
Well, um, really, I don't really like. I don't really like all these. I don't really care about like the prompts. Specifically, what piqued my interest was the Christian turned atheist. Like, is that like, are you a Christian turned atheist?
Yeah, yeah. I am currently an agnostic atheist, but I was a Christian for quite a big period of my life.
So when you say like you were a Christian, um, you mean like with the like we're like with like the church, or do you mean like you like knew God?
I truly believe that I had a relationship with God that I gained by having salvation, which I believe was only made possible through the sacrifice of Jesus, and it
Hmm.
is only through His gospel and through God's grace that I was
Right.
able to have salvation.
Right.
So, so that's what I believed, and that's why I say that I was a Christian because I
Okay.
truly did believe that at one point, and now I don't.
So, if I may ask, if it's okay, um, you said that you believe that you had a like relationship with the Lord. May I ask what? Not like the disconnect, but what when you started to believe, like what made you believe that you had the relationship? Like, was it things happening in your life? Was it you know understand like what would you say were things that made you believe that you had a relationship with him?
Yeah, I think it was a handful of things. I um, I just felt like I was getting personal confirmation from the Holy Spirit. I truly believe that it was something stirring in my heart, still small voices that kind of helped lead me. Not that I heard audible voices, but that soft kind of tugging to one part of the Bible for a certain thing that was helping me with my life or may have helped me with something in the future. I definitely felt like I was getting not like some kind of verbal or even like an answer to my prayers per se, but an acknowledgement that I had at least prayed. And then also there was a time in my younger life where someone pulled out a weapon on me and threatened to unalive me if I said that I loved Jesus and if I believed in him. And I remember praying through that moment and feeling as if Jesus was with me there.
Hmm.
These are all just examples of very personal feelings that basically I took as confirmation from the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit that I was on the right path.
So do you now not believe that like those things were like with God or was of the Holy Spirit?
No, I think that I was just very heavily influenced by something and I went along with it. I don't think that that in any way diminishes the belief I had in it. I definitely did truly believe in it.
Hmm.
But I understand now that just because I believe that X was happening does not mean that X was actually happening.
Right, that's true. So do you have any stories of anything physical that you might have prayed for? Or let's say like you prayed for a car or something, or and like you got a car, but the ways that you got the car, you shouldn't have got the car, or regardless to like a car or anything. Is there anything physical in your life where you have, you had, where you believe then and
No,
now you don't believe now?
because no, because in the past, at least for me, I thought that it was pretty selfish to pray for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really did that.
Oh.
I will say that from my non-Christian life, though, I remember thinking that like, what am I supposed to do now? I used to, do prayer and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
when I was having a hard time. Even though I didn't ask for things myself, I still was like, please help me get through this, and however you help me get through this, I'm confident in that. And I believed that truly, for those who love God, which included me, that all things would work together for good,
Yeah.
and that somehow I would be okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I became not a Christian, I understood that I couldn't pray anymore, which I mean I can, and I
You
have prayed to
can.
different gods in my non belief,
Hmm.
which we can actually talk about later if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
But in my non Christian belief, I have noticed that I have carried on that attitude of somehow it's going to be okay, and somehow it always is. Whenever
Hmm.
I'm a little bit short for for gas one week, there is no prayer to any type of god or anything like that anymore to to help me get through it or whatever. Somehow it's okay. If I find someone struggling and I want to help them, I find a way to help them, and I don't need any prayer for that, which
Right.
kind of seems to show me I didn't need it back then either. It's just a matter of how resourceful can you be, and how I guess strategic can you be when it comes to handling those resources, figuring
Hmm.
out how much having the self-control of how much to eat certain days, so you can still have food for the weekend and stuff. I'm not the richest person,
Right.
but somehow keeping on this attitude of just somehow it'll still be okay has honestly led me to have a very content and I think pretty happy filled life, which I didn't think was possible without my belief when I was in it.
Okay. That's so great to hear. Number one. You know what, like, like what you just said, like that's faith, right? Even though it's not faith in that, like the source of where it's coming from, right? Because like it's the source that's changing, regardless of if it's God or if it's Jesus or if it's with any gods, or any of these things. The you still have
Sure.
you have faith in good things that will happen, and all these things, and
I,
and
I
it
wouldn't
plays out.
necessarily call it faith per se, because the way I see faith is that it is the belief in something without the significant evidence to hold it up. Meanwhile, I have had the significant evidence to hold up the belief that somehow I'll be okay, and
Right.
I have lined up the resources. So it's not faith because I have done the work and I have seen the evidence of my work to make sure that I will be okay and that my family will be okay. So I don't see this as faith. I would see it as faith if like I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking. I would see it as faith if like the doctor told me my loved one was not doing well in surgery and to prepare myself. And I said, nah, they're a fighter. They're going to make it through. I know it.
Mm-hmm.
That I would see as faith because the evidence does not support what I am saying is going to happen. But me saying I know somehow I'm going to be okay has been supported through about 6, 7 years that yes, somehow I will be okay. So I think the evidence supports it, and therefore I don't take it as faith. I will say that there are some faith things or some beliefs I do take on faith, but I acknowledge that, and they're not things that like really, like I would say affect the real truth of any matter if they turned out to not be accurate.
Yeah, I feel you. Let me ask you one question. Does evidence predict the future, or does it give you a very educated answer?
It gives a very educated answer, but depending on what we're talking about, like if it's a machine that is going to do the same thing over and over again because that's its function, and we've tested it to make sure that it'll work, then yes, that thing will continue to do that. So it really depends. It depends on what we're talking about, but I would say that it is
All right. Well, okay.
that
That's
evidence
true.
is a
So
gather
let's put it
gather
in
of
like more of
information and
a
data that helps us understand what is to come,
right.
and how
Let's put it
something
in more of
works.
a narrow perspective, because that's true. It's very broad. So let's put it in a narrow perspective. Okay, okay, I'm talking about what you said about how good things happen, and you always like it's you have a good heart. You know what I'm saying? But let me witness to you a little bit with me. I'm not trying to convince you, or like I'm not talking about anything. I just want to say like, look, for me, I believe like the same thing. I trust, and I have, and like I say faith because we don't know what's going to happen in 5 seconds. We can have a lot of evidence that will give us a very educated answer, where we can put all of our eggs in one basket and bet on what's going to happen because we have all this evidence. But in true reality, you're never going to really know. So you're going to have faith. We have faith to that we when we put our keys in our car and we turn, that the car is going to turn on. We have so much evidence that we know the car is going to turn on, but at the end of the day, you don't know. So you have faith in all the evidence that we have, in regards to whatever that evidence is. Some people, the evidence is Jesus. Some people, the evidence is Allah. Some people it's just simple mechanics of like my car works, so it should work. When I put the key in and I turn, the car should turn on because the car is functionable. It should work. It's regardless that belief. It's still faith. Like you don't know. It's faith because
Right.
it's unseen. Evidence
I don't
brings into a very educated answer to where it can be 999.9. But in true reality, you will never have 100% answer on if something is going to happen or if something's not going to happen. So you have to believe in it. Regardless, like it probably the car analogy probably was probably bad, but you
Yeah,
never
yeah, I
have
do
a
want to
hundred
address the car
percent
analogy.
answer.
Yeah, I do want to address the car analogy, and I do want to address, like in 5 seconds, we don't know what's going to happen. Not knowing what's going to happen doesn't all of a sudden make it faith. It's whether there's evidence or not. Faith can only exist if there's absent the evidence.
No, 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 no,
So
no,
it
no.
doesn't matter if we know for a fact what the outcome is going to be. It's saying that based on the evidence that we have, we can say that most likely this is going to happen. It's possible that something else happens, like the car analogy. We have, something that we understand that it should work this way. Everything is made. The evidence supports that it works this way. There's a chance, though, you might need an oil change, and your car might be acting a little funky, especially if you neglect it. So these are all things again that we know with evidence, and we can and you can take it to the mechanic who is going to take that data and information and figure out what's wrong with your car. So none of that involves faith, and the same thing with not knowing what happens in 5 seconds. Even if you happen to expire in the next 5 seconds, the world doesn't cease to exist. We know that through data and information that people die and that the world continues on and that lives still continue even though that person is gone. It might be over for you, but you don't need faith to understand that unless, the comet that, killed off the dinosaurs is coming back, the world's going to continue on without you. That doesn't require faith from my perspective at all.
Okay, I get it. I get it, but I get it.
You said something that I would like to address. You said, like for some people that the faith evidence is Jesus, for some people it's Allah and stuff like that. And that's
Hmm.
another thing that I think really kind of makes faith not a reliable methodology to use, is that faith cannot help us distinguish what is true.
Well,
It's just
that's
a
correct.
grounds for
But
you
we
to
don't
believe
use
in
that for that
something.
though.
Sure, but then what good is faith in your belief if you can't give it any kind of certainty?
Well, I can only speak, from what I know in my life. I'm not the smartest dude. You know what I'm saying? But so I believe in Jesus, but I only believe in Jesus because Jesus has came to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't. It wasn't like I read the word and I believed, or I went to church and I believed. It was none of that. It was just he. I didn't even know that God really existed until He revealed Himself to me. So like I have, in like regards to like that situation and that encounter and stuff, He's like gave me a house. Like I'm in a car right now that He's provided me that I did not pay for, couldn't pay for, couldn't do anything. Like regards to that, I'm in like my entire life is like devoted to Jesus, completely out of faith because I do not know what's gonna happen all day. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. I don't know anything. I have no control over my life at all. But that faith comes from everything that He has already done for me, and the fact that He's already revealed that He's real. So it's like I don't like there's for my understanding, there's no choice because well He's real. So it's like all right, well there's nothing else, you know. But before that, I didn't know. I grew up in the church, but like once I hit like 9, I stopped going. My people was like, you don't gotta go if you don't want to go, so I stopped going. But growing up, I still believed in God, and at that point, I used to call that faith, but that wasn't faith because that was just a belief in something. Like I like no like nothing. Faith comes with works. Faith comes with like faith shows in the physical.
Well, faith is a gift from God, and that gift comes by hearing the word of God.
Yeah.
So faith doesn't even require any action aside from listening.
No,
As long
but
as you listen to
faith
the word of
comes with
God,
works. I'm like,
faith is the gift of God. Your works can come as a result of your
right,
faith,
that's what I'm saying.
but
Faith comes with it. I'm not saying I'm like that's what I'm agreeing with you. That's what I'm saying. Faith
faith isn't
comes
like
with
reliant
works.
on your
It's a
works.
product. Like your faith, it will produce works. So whatever work that is, but it's gonna produce it
It
because
it,
you
it
have it.
can it can, and it doesn't for everyone.
Well, it does. Like that's what that like no faith. Like if you have no producing of works, like any work, anything, like any work, then there's no like there's no faith. You can't have faith or walk in something and not literally walk in it. Regardless if that's the
So
way
how
you see the world, regardless if that small work is just the way you see people, just a change of heart, and you being more remorseful and being more and having more morality and having more and humbling yourself. That's a work. Doing like inner work. That's a work. Just looking at yourself and humbling yourself and asking for forgiveness. That's a work. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna produce something. It's gonna produce something. It's something, and that's why it says faith without works is dead. Because if it does not produce works, it's literally not faith. Faith is gonna produce some kind of works, even if it's not physical works. It could be mental, be spiritual, but it's going to be something. Even if that simple work is the greatest work, which is a sinner coming to repentance, which is just a person accepting that they have committed sins. That's a work.
sure, and I think there could be some debate about that, but I don't want to get off on a side thing. I wanted to ask you one more question, and then I think somebody else wants to ask you a question, and I'm gonna let him do that. But first, I think it's very interesting that you said that you acknowledge that the things that Jesus has done for you, you take that on faith that he's going to continue providing for you in the future, and I think that
Yeah.
it's very consistent with what we've been talking about with the faith versus evidence. Because if
Right.
Jesus was in fact real, and if Jesus did in fact do these things for you, this would then be evidence
Right.
that
Exactly.
Jesus
That's
is
what I
doing
was
this for
saying.
you. But it's not. But it's not evidence because you can't actually show that Jesus did it.
Well, I can.
And you can.
Yeah.
How
Like
so?
bro, shit.
Okay,
Like I like bro. Like what?
you mentioned the car that you didn't pay for. How can you show that Jesus gave you
Exactly.
that
That
car?
that that is probably my biggest. We have like I probably have 3 miracles in my life that I can prove that did not come from me.
All right,
And it's funny.
let's address them as bullet points because I do want to get our other guests up here to join the conversation with us.
Okay,
But I do want to hear the 3 miracles that you believe you could prove.
I got you. So, where we go from here?
Just list them.
Okay, so
I'm
the
gonna let Fat Jesus join us, but I
okay,
think we're both very curious as to the miracles that you believe happened in your life that you can prove came from Jesus.
yeah,
And yeah, we'll listen to them and then we'll respond.
okay, great. So, the first one I would say is my child, right? Well, really, the first one I can say my birth. I have so many of them, really, but I won't use that because I don't have as much evidence with that one. But the first one I'll say my child. The second one, my car that I'm in right now, and the third one, my wife that's sitting right next to me.
Okay, so I'd like to bring up child. So was your child immaculate, or are you somehow sterile before you had your child?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not able to have children. It's like a family thing.
Is it like at
Mm-hmm.
all, or is it like just
So how
Yeah,
do
you
like
you
at
have
have
all,
family?
like at
a
all. Like
low sperm count where
I
it's
shoot
rare?
blanks. Like
So
I've
how do you
never
have
had a
family?
sperm count, and it's not like a thing that's like a he healed me
So
from that. Like
how are
no, he
you
gave,
here?
huh? I'm sorry.
So how are you here?
What do you mean?
Yeah, you said it was a family thing.
Right.
So
So I
is
would
it something
like I
that your
had said
family has
before,
been
I
getting
couldn't use my
medical help
birth,
for this whole
right?
time, or have you been adopted?
No, yeah, right. Because like I said before, I was gonna use my birth as one of these, but I was like no, because like I'm a miracle child. My mom, she was not like she's the same way. She was not able to have children. I can use my birth too. She was not able to have children.
Well, she
She had
obviously
three
was then.
miscarriages. Huh?
She obviously was then.
Do you have any siblings,
No,
or is it
like
just you?
hold on.
You
Y'all
have
gotta
siblings.
hold on. Y'all gotta I'm one thing I gotta say. But my Bible, I'll put my like. Obviously, y'all don't have to believe anything I'm saying, right?
Don't, but do you have any siblings?
No, I don't have these siblings. I'm an only child.
Okay, you're an
Yeah,
only child.
we're just trying to get the bigger picture
I
here
know, I
of
know, I
the
know. But
situation. You know?
I'm gonna paint y'all a very perfect picture. So I just wanna ask.
I think we have enough of the background now. I think our main question here now is, how can you show that it is factual that Jesus is the reason why you now have a child?
Yeah, that's what if I can like kind of control a little bit because I'm trying to get into it. I want to be able to tell y'all everything, but it's
Well,
like
we
I
don't
have
want
to
a
give y'all
life
all the
story.
information for y'all to
We want
know.
to. All
You
you
know what
have
I'm
to do
saying?
is tell us. We don't need a backstory. What we
I'm
need
not
to
trying to
know
give you a
is
backstory. I'm just
is
saying
what
you're
evidence.
asking
All
me
right,
a
it's okay.
question.
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to answer the question. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think I think I made the question clear, and as long as whatever you're saying is in direct answer to that question, then yeah, we're
I
all
know, but
good.
you're
So
asking me, do I have evidence? I'm
we'll
saying
meet up.
yes, and I'm trying to give you the evidence. But I'm like,
I know.
can I get to it? You know
Don't
what I'm
worry.
saying?
Don't worry. We're gonna mute up and we're gonna let you give the evidence for it. But we're just saying that we don't want anything that isn't going to answer that specific question.
Right.
Okay.
Respect.
All right. Cool. Go for it.
Okay, great. So I can send y'all the paperwork later on after this if y'all don't like believe me. But for me personally, I'm not able to have children. I'm still not able to have children now. It wasn't like he healed me from the thing. No, I'm still not able to have children now. But the I didn't. This was before I got saved. I got saved 2 years ago. Um, I've never. This is what before I believe. I was sitting in my car by myself, right? And I was with my mother and my child for 4 years. I've never used condoms. I've never pulled out. I've never done any of that because in my entire life because I've never have I couldn't have children. This is a normal thing. So I have all these stories on my YouTube and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. I was sitting in my car by myself. This was before I knew about God. I believed Jesus. I've let you know about
So
that,
a
right?
doctor definitely told you that you couldn't have children.
Yeah, they told me this at a young age. They told me this when I was 13 years old. I've been couldn't have children. Every female I've ever been with, I've been with a lot of females. Every female I've ever been with, I've never pulled out. I've been the woman I have children with. We was together for 4 years already. I've never pulled out. I've never used condoms. She's never got pregnant. So regardless from everybody else, even with her, we was together for 4 years. She's never got pregnant. I've never used any of that. I never had to. You know what I'm saying? And then even after me having my child, I'm still not able to have children. I have a wife right
So
here.
how do you?
Huh?
So how do you?
What do you mean, how do I?
You said you had
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah.
child. So how
So
do
I
you?
was sitting in my car by myself, right? This was before I believed in God. I let you know about it. Sitting in my car by myself. And I'm by
We've
myself
been
in
over
my
this.
car.
Can you
All right.
just
I'm
get to
by
the
myself
point,
in my
Emmanuel?
car, bro. Somebody starts talking to me. I'm by myself. Listen to me, bro. I'm by myself in my car. Someone starts talking to me and said, "You're going to have a child. She will be the gift and a gift." I didn't know what the. I'm looking around like who is talking like whatever who's talking to me. I'm kind of smoking. I'm like, all right, oh well. I
Did
don't
this
even
voice
believe it.
say, "I'm Jesus"?
What?
Did this voice say, "I'm Jesus"?
No, not then. No. That's
Did
why
the
I'm
voice
like
say,
you guys
"I'm
know.
God"?
She didn't. He did. That's not. He didn't come out and say, "I'm Jesus." You're gonna have no,
Okay, I'm
no, no,
just
no, no.
checking, just making sure.
But I have a relationship with him now. That's what I was saying. He told me this before I got saved. I had got saved
Sure,
6 months
but
after
there's no
this.
verification that this auditory hallucination was in fact
Can I
God
finish my
or
story
Jesus.
before you start to refute my story,
Well,
please, man?
I just want to make sure that I'm on the right
You're
page.
not giving me a chance to even finish the story before you start refuting me, man.
No,
Come on now, man. I'm not even done.
I'm asking for clarity. That's all
Now
I'm
let
doing.
me finish, please. Thank you. So after
It's
that,
forever, so
please let me finish. Please let me finish. Please let me finish.
sometime this century.
Please, can I finish? Please. Come on, have some respect, man. I'm having respect. I'm respecting you.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
There's
All
respect
right,
back and forth.
let's continue with your story, but let us do try to wrap it up because there were some
I'm
points
trying
you
to wrap
repeated
it up.
like five
I got
times.
like 5 words left to say. I can't say it.
All right, let's go.
Like,
Let's move
dang.
forward.
So, like I said, I
You
did
heard
not.
this voice in your
Yes,
car
I
tell
heard
you
the
that you're
voice.
gonna
Like
have a
I said, I
daughter
did not
and that she
believe the
will be a
voice. I
gift.
did not believe any of this. The next day, my mother of my child calls me, tells me that she is pregnant, blah, 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 right? Go to the doctor. She's pregnant. Cool. Like I said, I didn't get saved then. I didn't really, that was just like the first introduction. It was like, oh, wow,
Are there
right?
other humans? Are there other humans around?
In my car?
No, just in general. Just in general. Do you live around other humans?
What do you like? Do I live are you asking me, do I live like in a neighborhood or something?
Yeah. Are there other men around where you live?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Continue.
What is this slight disrespect, my nigga?
So I
Like
guess my
y'all,
question
like,
to your
what is
story
this
would
slight
be,
disrespect? Like, what's up? I've been respecting y'all. I've been respecting, bro. You wanna keep coming
you
with
know,
this slight disrespect? Like, what's
you
up
know,
with that, bruh?
humble servant. I've been friends with Fat Jesus for a while, and actually, he is showing a lot of self control and restraint right now to
He can
be
be showing
respectful.
self
Not to
control,
you.
but he need to show
Hold on.
some
Don't
more because
please.
I'm being
Hold on,
completely
please don't
respectful.
interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. He's showing a lot of respect to me and my platform right now because I do take a more respectful approach. However, I don't censor everybody because I don't like doing that. So yeah, we're all engaging. He's doing his best to respect me, and no, he doesn't respect your belief in particular, but that's okay. We're here just to discuss it, and I think from your story that you shared with us, and I thank you for sharing your story, my biggest question to it would be, why is it that, where is the evidence that this child came from Jesus? Because all you told us was that
I'd like
your
to add
wife
on to that.
or your girlfriend, in just one second, that your girlfriend ended up pregnant, or wife, or whoever she was, that she ended up pregnant, and that you had an auditorial hallucination. I
wasn't
don't know how
hallucinating.
you
I
can
didn't
say
see
that any
anything.
of that. I don't know how you can say
Right.
any of that came from Jesus or is a result of Jesus.
Well,
So I'm
maybe if
wondering
y'all
what
let
the
me
evidence
finish
is for
talking
that.
and let me tell my story.
Humble servant. Humble
Let me
servant.
maybe if y'all let me
The problem
finish
is
my
with
story and try to
this.
sit here
I
and
thought
Hold
actually
I
on.
thought you
gain some
were done.
information instead
Humble
of judging
servant.
the
The problem with
entire
this.
every word I speak,
The
y'all judge.
problem
This is
with
why y'all can't
the
accept
problem
anything
with
and
this.
nothing can come into your heart. I'm literally, I don't give a, I don't care.
The problem with this story, humble
No,
servant,
I don't. You gotta
is that
understand that
the problem
the
with
story
this
doesn't help
story
me.
is that
Me
somebody who's
telling you my
sterile,
experience does
someone
not help
who
me. You
somebody who's
understand that, right?
Okay,
sterile.
all right. No one's able to hear anything or understand anyone if this is happening. I don't appreciate mutes, and I swear if people can't control themselves maturely, then I'll just stop the live. I don't care.
You gonna have to.
So
Y'all
humble
gonna have
servant,
to.
hold on, humble servant, please don't
Man, y'all
interrupt.
gonna have to learn some
Please.
respect.
I'm
My
trying to
nigga.
salvage this, and I think that especially if you have the fruits of the spirit, which is patience, you'll be able to help through this. So
I'm
Fat Jesus and I have lots of questions about your story,
right.
which it seems that it seems like you finished because you said you had just a few more words and you continued on for a couple more sentences. So if you hadn't finished it, I'm sorry, but that's the impression that I got. So we started asking the questions, and just because we're asking questions does not mean that we're trying to belittle your story per se. We're asking questions for the clarification of where is the evidence that this came from Jesus, and that is not technically a story. That's just
Because
factual data, because that's what evidence is.
there's perfectly natural explanations for why someone who is sterile could have a child with someone who isn't, which is it's obviously not yours. Would be a perfectly natural explanation to why someone sterile could have a child, and that's why I asked if there's other humans around you.
Well,
Yeah, have you done any
yes, I
testing to
have.
see if
Yes,
this
I have
child is
done.
yours?
Yes, we had a DNA test done, and it's funny because I don't really need one because she's like spitting image of me, so it's pretty funny.
Sure.
But
Yeah, no, and I don't think anyone is here going like, man, I hope that she cheated on you or anything, because like that's terrible.
no, it's
But
fine. It's fine. It's fine. I just want
and
like
so you said you had paperwork. Do you have paperwork from before you had this child and after saying that you have no sperm count and that this child is actually yours?
well, yeah, I got paper. I got the paperwork that's telling me I had no sperm count. I got paperwork from maybe about like 6 months ago when I went to the doctor saying the same thing. I got my the paperwork for her being my daughter. Yeah. And regardless of that, like I was saying about the when she had got pregnant, all that I didn't believe in Jesus. I didn't think that that was from God or anything like that. Like that, like I didn't make that connection then. Like that's what I was trying to get you to understand. But I got saved 6 months later, and I didn't know. I was homeless. It was real bad. I didn't know who. I was just literally. I was about to end it all. About to chop. I was about to go ahead. Check out. And I was like, whoever, whatever, whoever is out there, and if you're out there, I'm done. I was like, I'm done. I check out. I was like, I will Jesus, Allah, whatever, whoever, I'm done. I check out. So if y'all got anything for me, lay it on me. And so I said that, and I started just crying real bad. I started just crying. And that was a cool thing. Like, the crying was a real cool thing. Cause like I couldn't really cry, like I couldn't really like when people like that, like when you go like numb and you don't really like feel
Yeah,
stuff, like people
crying
say
is very
that, you know what I'm
therapeutic.
saying? People like say
Yeah,
that.
crying is very therapeutic for people,
Right.
especially who don't do it too often.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's try to speed the story along because you said the same thing like 5 times. So you were in your
I'm not
car.
gonna cap with you. I'm not gonna
This was
cap
rock
with you.
bottom for you.
I'm not
You
gonna
were
cap with
crying
you.
out to anything, to
I'll just
whoever.
leave. Cause I'm not really respecting how y'all energy. I respect y'all and I hope you have a great day. But I'm just gonna evade because my experience with Jesus doesn't help me. If y'all wanna hear my experience with Jesus, then y'all can hear my experience with Jesus. I love to tell them.
Well,
But it does my
we're
experiences
trying to
don't
get to
help
the
me.
evidence of Jesus,
No, but I
which is
don't.
what you
Y'all
agreed to
don't
answer.
respecting me, and I don't like that. So I'm just gonna leave. It's fine. Y'all have a great day.
I'm sorry
And
you
if y'all
feel
want to hear
disrespected.
about my
No,
stories or all
I
of my
respect
channels,
you.
I'm sorry you feel disrespected,
it's
but
okay. I'm
I've
sorry.
done my best
If
to
you
have
aren't
a
trying to respect, if you
conversation
aren't
with
trying to
you.
disrespect me, then I'm
Hold
sorry
on.
that I feel that way. If you aren't genuinely trying to disrespect me, then I'm actually sorry. But if
Yeah,
y'all want to hear about my
trust
stories,
me, if
they're
I
all
was trying to
on my
disrespect you,
TikTok
you would
page, so
know.
you can go on your own time and hear about every one of these miracles, and I have all the paperwork, I have everything on my channel. So if
Well,
you want to
we're
like
only
actually
asking
hear
you,
about
how
these
do you
things, y'all can go on
discern
I'm
there
not
why it's a
trying to
and say
miracle?
that.
disrespect you
But it's
because if
cool.
I
If y'all aren't
was, you
trying to
would
disrespect
know.
me, I'm sorry for taking it like that. I'm sorry for being sensitive. If y'all aren't trying to disrespect me,
So
but I don't feel
so then
respected
don't
here,
you
so I'm
think
just
maybe
gonna
the
leave.
mature thing to do would be to put those
So
emotions aside?
Or stop
Oh,
talking for a
all right.
second so we can tell you what we're looking for instead of getting
Well, we
upset.
told him what we were looking for. We were looking for the evidence of Jesus giving him this child, and he never got there.
I
He
wasn't
just
not,
wanted to tell his testimony, and that's what we
right.
kept trying to
He wanted to
get him to
proselytize.
stray from, but he
Yes,
didn't want to. He didn't want to stray from that,
I
and
wasn't
that's the issue with having these conversations. Sometimes that's what makes them kind of frustrating when they agree
right.
to talk about the evidence, and then get angry that it's their testimony not being taken as such.
Right, and I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just trying to point out natural explanations to what he was saying. I wasn't trying to, because I know you run a much more respectful, and I was trying to be very nice. I was just trying to point out
Yeah,
poke holes in why his testimony wasn't believable to me.
yeah, and I appreciate that, and I'm trust me, I was on your side too, being like, well, most natural explanation is that that kid isn't yours. I want to hear his
Right.
testimony again in 6 months. Because to me, and like, granted, I'm no psychiatrist. I don't know the full story because, again, like, we were really only looking for the evidence that this came from Jesus, which we never got to. Yeah, Fat Jesus was definitely being respectful because, again, I do run a little bit more of a nicer live. But, sometimes I have my moments, and I've had my moments in other lives, and I've shared some of those moments with Fat Jesus, and, hey, sometimes they can be fun. But yeah, no, his girl got pregnant, but he apparently has no sperm count before and after his daughter's birth. But apparently he has paperwork that she is in fact his. We didn't get to, anything like what did the doctors say about, what happened, looking into the other possible natural causes that this happens. Because, yeah, it is very, very rare that, that could happen, but there's usually some other kind of condition that is paired with it. But we didn't get into a whole bunch of things that I wanted to ask him about that hit on how do you know that this is evidence that Jesus did anything?
How does he know it was his
he,
God?
Yeah, hearing a voice in your car doesn't mean that that was God in any
Right.
way.
And that's what I was trying to get at too when I was like, did this God introduce it? Did this voice introduce itself? Did it say, "Hey, I'm Jesus. Hey, man, it's God"? No, it was just a voice in his head that didn't really identify itself, except for later when he feels like he had a relationship with it after he had this strange, like, because that's the only way he can make sense of it is it had to be God. So of course later he's gonna be like, of course, now that I believe, it had to be God, and that's where I was going with that. But he got a little
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly on the same board with you, and I think because it's and like I said, this is just my opinion. I'm not a licensed professional in any manner. That he said that this happened like within a few hours or like a day apart. Him hearing God say, "You're gonna have a daughter and she's gonna be a gift," to his girlfriend saying, "Hey, I'm pregnant." Because we know that the brain is a funny thing, I don't see how it couldn't be possible that they were flipped in, order of or in their order, that his girlfriend told him that, and then he had an audible hallucination that said he's going to have a daughter and that that's going to be a gift, because some people's brains can't fathom the idea that they were just cheated on. They can't handle that. It would just be too much for them in that moment, and so their brain comes up with something else. Yeah, look at Joseph. Joseph was like, I guess the Holy Spirit got her pregnant. He came to me in a dream after the fact.
Well, at least we know that his girlfriend could have even said that it was an immaculate conception. He probably would have believed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, crazy, crazy things. But my point is that I can understand how someone's brain might be like, you're not ready for the information that you were just cheated on, and so therefore we're gonna be happy living in this life of you just had a daughter with your girlfriend. It's a miracle somehow. This happened, and then later when he made that religious connection to Christianity and Jesus, he was like, that must have been God.
And just ignore that it looks like the DoorDash guy.
Yeah, right. She looks just like me, being like, well, maybe that's the case. And like I said, I hope it's his kid. And if so, great. But I still fail to see where the evidence is that it was from Jesus.
Miraculous, yeah. And anyway,
Yeah. Well, how you been? Been doing all right?
yeah, man, I've been pretty good. I gotta get back to work, but I'm gonna drop down. But that guy left me so many questions. I thought I'd jump up and
Yeah, right.
ask.
Lots of questions. It's a shame he left, but be what it be. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate your time.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me up. I may come back.
Awesome, awesome. All right, take care.